Hello, welcome to today's deep dive on Evalify again. And Evalify is revolutionizing the way startups and investors handle patent analysis. And we will explore here with Nick, our beloved co-founder, how actually Evalify leverages AI to transform traditional patent evaluation processes and its impact on investment decisions across different sectors. So I have a question for you, Nick. First of all, giving an introduction to Evalify. So what is Evalify and how does it transform startup patent analysis?
Yeah, interesting question. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Hi, William. Describing Evalify in a nutshell is always a bit of a challenge, but, to go straight to the point, is a platform that enables people who are not experts in IP to make assessments of ideas, startup ideas, or technology descriptions against 200 million documents, 200 million patent documents from over 170 jurisdictions, to provide an assessment on this idea and say if that is something that, can be pursued as a business opportunity or not, depending on how crowded is the market, how many players are around. So you start with an idea, you check whether you have any, blocker, any infringement risk probability on your trajectory, and that informs on whether you should continue the development of that idea. So you're not experts on IP, you have no access on patents, you don't know anything about it, you don't know how to search, where to search, when to search, and and you know immediately how things are going with your idea.
Wonderful. Yeah, actually, that's also why the reason why Evalify exists, right? Even the ranking with the scoring that we created helps the investors to quickly identify the most promising startups, and without the need to go into very complex patent document manual. We actually solve that for you. And so if you streamline this evaluation, Evalify not only saves you time, but enhances the accuracy of the investment decisions, at least from the IP perspective. And of course, the Evalify is also important in terms of the competitiveness, but also the strategic use of patents in investment decisions. So how are we using? We are both of us in this journey together. So how are we using Evalify in patents as a strategic asset?
Yeah, how we use patents in Evalify as a strategic asset. Yes, so patents are not just legal documents, but they can be seen as put all together, from all the jurisdictions, as basically a global repository of knowledge of how to solve problems. So if you have this in mind and you understand the notion that a patent is actually the solution to a technical problem, literally like the description step by step of how to solve a certain specific problem, which is almost like a chef reading a recipe to replicate a meal. That's the level of understanding and that in-depth patents should provide. If you think about this, and we have over 200 million documents that are basically how to solve technical problems, all of the sudden, you can say, oh, what can I do with all this knowledge? The thing that Evalify does is not understanding all these documents, get to the essence of them, extract the key notions, extract all the concepts, all the legally enforceable parts, and using those not only to assess an idea, but to assess the risk of an idea of infringing if developed in a certain way. So that's the, let's say, sort of counterintuitive way we use it. We use it as a tool to assess ideas. We look at how startups want to solve a problem, technical problems. We look at how technical problems have already been solved to date. And we know if these solutions, do have overlaps, do have a match, do have something that is in common, and we know, then we can inform both VC investors, founders, everyone playing with this data on what's the next best course of action.
Exactly. So basically, this approach enables investors to use patents or patent information strategically, and it's not just in terms of legal barriers, but also as assets that can offer the competitive advantage and the market exclusivity, right? So
Totally.
and the clients or anyone using Evalify will understand these dynamics, investors, but also even startup founders, as we've seen in our journey, can better position their investment for success in this kind of crowded markets. And as you're senior inventor, there are like some key components of a utility patent as used by Evalify. Like what are those? Like tell me more about that.
Yeah, totally. So there are different types of patents. You get design patents. These are the patents that you may find like IKEA solutions. Like maybe you find a wardrobe, and that wardrobe has a certain name. The name pertains to the word of trademarks and copyright. But then the how to build it, the design of that is a design patent. Actually how it looks like precisely, that is the kind of design patent. Then you have plant patents, where you actually protect literally plants, new plants, and then you have the utility patents. This is the majority of patents, and these patents are the ones that are describing exactly how to solve a very specific problem. And that's the ones we use. These do cover all the industries you can imagine, from fintech, food tech, from software engineering, from quantum computing to life science, healthcare, everything you can imagine, electronics, mechanics, physics, all these categories, all these large categories, chemicals, fall into the utility patents. And these utility patents, are documents that are semi-structured, we say, because you do have certain sections which are consistent across different jurisdictions. The majority of the sections is consistent, but not them all. And then within these sections, you have a field that is named title, you have a field that is named abstract, but there's not a limit of characters, there's not a limit of clarity, there is not a standard in quality or how this abstract should be written. These are not even legally enforceable. There are a lot of fields in a patent. There are fields that do matter the most from a legal standpoint, and then there are fields that matter the most for the sake of organizing all this knowledge, all this information worldwide across jurisdictions, like classification codes, like and there are different classification codes. There are many fields, and among these fields, there are ones that do deserve more attention from us, specifically, for instance, the claims, and that's where we focus most of our analysis on.
Perfect. And I know this is maybe a lot of legal language or patent language for most of you who are listening to us. And you can actually, by the way, I forgot about it. You can ask questions, so feel free. We will see them live, and
Totally.
super happy to answer them or after the podcast, the webinar. And of course, we do have. So we're discussing about what are the components of the utility patent, but then also we know how the combination of AI with patent insights is providing a competitive edge. And for example, I can say that AI integration allows Evalify to conduct more deeper semantic analysis of the technical features that are described in the pitch decks, because that's at the foundation of what we do. And this actually rapidly identifies patentable aspects and ensuring basically a startup or an idea freedom to operate. And this capability not only speeds up the patent analysis process, but also enhances the precision basically gives the startup a significant competitive edge by highlighting their unique innovations. And then something I wanted to add more on why we have this competitive advantage that is provided by AI, right? And there's so much hype nowadays about AI, but it's a necessary tool nowadays in order to have done this service in few minutes for you. But of course, there is a lot of learnings and methodology behind that. So while we have a direct insights that actually directly impacted the investment decisions for Evalify for investors, right? So even though specific cases are proprietary, Evalify has actually enabled investors to sidestep the potential legal hurdles, especially at the beginning, by identifying the startups with unique and legally protectable ideas, and then they would focus on investment on ventures with much lower risk and high potential for innovation. And it's a simple thing that we do for awareness. Of course, there are more things that come into the game, like the team, the technology, the market, and the solution itself, and the execution. Of course, these are vital, but the reason to exist there for Evalify is also bring awareness into the process. And now, as we touched a bit about the what is Evalify doing to directly impact investment decisions. So now we can even cover the future of investing with AI and patent insights. So I'm asking you, but we are colleagues, we are co-founders of the how are we planning to enhance our capabilities further?
Right. So at the moment, we focus a lot on the risk identification. There's a lot of work that we do around making sure that we can say when there is a certain technical feature, if that technical feature is going to be something around which we have to start building a product or not. Maybe it's a feature that is positioned in a market so crowded that shouldn't be a cornerstone feature for that specific product. Now, at the moment, we are only telling you shouldn't, but we're not providing any real suggestion on what you could do next. So this is one of the immediate things we're working on, and we're working on adjacent possibilities. So we will start suggesting, given very specific things in a product that do not go well, we may provide not only options on how to get in a better spot with that idea, with that feature, but also designing a path towards a potential white space. So you have an idea, you assess it, you understand that 2 out of 5 features maybe are not that good. We tell you to drop them now, but soon we'll be telling you, instead of this, you should be differentiating by doing X, Y, and Z. And that will lead you in a space that will not only increase the Evalify score, the Evalify freedom to operate score, but also ensure that the company is safer in execution, is operating in a field where there are less competitors, where competitors maybe are less aggressive. There are so many aspects that can be taken into account, that should be taken into account every time that we make these kind of assessments, and we will be doing so. I know plenty of startups that had an issue with IP. It wouldn't have been great if they had this option of Evalify. Totally. So from founders to founders, and from founders to investors, investors actually have the same problem. They typically bet on teams. They typically bet on founders that can actually make the difference. But even in such cases, sometimes it might be that it's simply the wrong idea. It doesn't. You can scream as much as you want. You may be in love with the idea, but if there is no way to overcome a certain pattern that is maybe very broad, and you know that you're going to have issues in the future when the company grows, or you can't differentiate enough, or it's a foundational feature for your product, you should simply drop it. So there are sometimes a lot of workarounds you can design around. You can do simple things as this, but it doesn't always. It's not always the case. So these strategic mitigation ways to get out from these cases, or these adjacent possibilities, smart pivot recommendations, start drafting something out of the maybe a draft application if the idea is super good. FTO also is not something that should be done on a given day and then you forget about it. Yeah, good score, it's all green, let's continue developing it, and you stop checking it. No, FTO is a continuous exercise. So this will become a service, FTO as a service, very soon. We're approaching a word. We have 5 times more patents today than in 1990, meaning that if we continue this way, we're going to be in a super packed environment where not checking IP before doing something, it's going to be just unnatural.
Yeah.
You will feel naked without.
Yeah, that's pretty much feeling, and we also speak to a lot of founders. First of all, this type of information is not accessible. You don't just get away by Googling things, even about your competitors. And by the way, legal competitors list, like it's actually legally binding if you have a competitors list like we offer from the point of view of patents. So as you were saying, Nick, basically having that type of awareness can actually give you much more information, even developing the scenarios. Maybe some corporations have already developed that idea. So first of all, in the first place, you're not so innovative as you think you are as a startup, but also something that investors should be aware as well. Or you haven't done your freedom to operate analysis well. And we know all the challenges that are in that space. And on the other side, you have the learnings that maybe abandoned patents with that technology could give you. And we, of course, provide also that part. For example, imagine someone has developed a specific technology, they abandoned the patent, so we want to know what is the story behind that, what was the company, why the company failed, or why the company succeeded, and then what actually happened with that idea. And you can get that from our platform simply by having a list of patents, competitors list, and also the risk connected to each of these features that they are developing. And I know time is running, but we have the future of investing with AI and patents inside, right? So we, on one hand, there are some future developments that we're planning. We're working hard with our team and Vincenzo and everyone. We want to improve and enhance these capabilities further. And in this, actually, all the pilots that we've been doing with investors, even with startup founders, were really helpful. And on the other hand, we have the democratization opportunities for startups that are outside the major tech hubs. So you want to quickly go through these two, Nick?
Yeah, there's actually a lot to unpack here, but in reality, what we're doing is putting in the hands of everyone the capability to have a preliminary check on the patents surrounding one's idea in minutes at a fraction of the cost it would you would have to spend for a professional. And we're not saying you shouldn't be doing that, but sometimes you also don't even know if to invest time on an idea, and this could be a fantastic check in the super early stages that maybe it's like involving I don't know, an F1 pilot, an F1 driver to give you a ride to the supermarket. That would be the analogy in involving an attorney in the super early stages, just to check if you can do something. It doesn't make any sense financially, from a professional standpoint. We are providing a way here to put again the patent thinking since day one in the early stages, as an industry, as founders, as startup founders, and also as VC investors. we completely forgot about checking IP until we got to Series A, probably. But Series A
If
typically
you're
is
lucky.
at least 12 to 18 months into the development. You already spent significant amount of money in building something. And what if somebody comes and says, you don't actually have the freedom to operate with this business because with this kind of things you're doing, you're infringing on this existing patents. And on the other hand, you have Amazon, you have Samsung, you have IBM, very likely, especially if you're in the IT stage. So we're getting back in the hands of the non-IP experts a way to run preliminary checks 24/7, anytime they want, in minutes, with what they have. And you don't just get raw data, but interpreted results. That's a unique capability. That's something that doesn't exist in the market. That's something that is going to be like water in business very soon. And it's going to change everything. If we do things right, we said this many times, we do also have a freedom to operate score. And a good score for us is above 550 and onward. So imagine this. Imagine that if we do things right, Y Combinator won't accept startups until they score over 550. This is so important. This is where the industry is getting. The industry is getting towards less risk-averse thing. So one way to do this is making sure you're building something in an industry, in a niche, that is going to guarantee or giving you the chances to build in a wide space, to be the king of the hill in a huge landscape. That's where the future is.
Yeah, that's where we actually fit in our reason to exist. Oh, so I got a comment here. Yes. Yeah, thank you for your participation there. So then, to build up on that, I know again, like time is limited, but we have the enhancement of the due diligence of Evalify, like as augmentation enriching the diligence.
Totally.
So yeah, we aim at enhancing this process for the VC. We know there is also in a way a culture change for them, and
one thing
our
at a time.
type of one thing at a time, right? So our rapid AI-driven patent analysis provides the VCs and investors with really crucial insights into potential legal and innovation-related risks. So our comprehensive understanding allows actually for more informed decision-making. And this, in a way, like if you're an investor, this actually helps you to commit to startups with a little bit more clear IP landscape, and you have more minimized legal uncertainties. Of course, it's not the solution, one solution fits all, but it's at least something we are aiming at opening up for them at the early stage. And you can easily move the needle from the Series A type of investment into due diligence into the early stage. And then we have, as a consequence, the impact on portfolio management and returns, right? What if you imagine, like, we even created a dashboard where the investor can prioritize the startups based on the score. So if you imagine what is the impact of Evalify insights on portfolio performance and investor returns. So if we take that IP perspective only, we are capable of detecting the high potential startups with minimum legal and
minimum information and input.
Yeah, and this actually significantly contributes to optimizing the portfolio performance. Again, it's just a vertical, just one layer. It's not everything. I mean, it's not written on the stone that you can't invest in that startup if the score is high. They still have the opportunity to pivot, or they still have the opportunity to. It's an awareness tool.
It's a dynamic word, and the FTO score is designed to pair with this dynamicity in the dynamic environment.
Exactly, and then you can imagine on the bigger level, like you can optimize the portfolio performance. So if you invest, you're directing these investments towards innovative and, let's say, legally sound ventures, or from the IP perspective, then Evalify can help you maximize the returns, reducing the risk of associated IP conflicts. Of course, that's always up to the team. We are not guaranteeing if you get a good IP, then the success is done. If you have a lot of work to do in that.
Totally. There are so many variables, but IP is one of those, and today we don't do enough to check it from the early days. That's what Evalify solves, and there's so much we are cooking behind the scenes. We'll soon show, one major change that is going to skyrocket our accuracy, which is already very high, but you will see it firsthand. And we've got already IP professionals having a look at this idea and falling off the chair, because they said, okay, that sounds like I would have done it. And that is exactly where we're headed at, and where we are getting to with the level of accuracy. So to wrap it up, maybe for the sake of time, William, just wanted to remind that you probably see on the top left corner a QR code. The QR code gives you, it showcases you how you can run your first Evalify analysis, and with Evalify 50 off as a coupon, you can get $50 off on your first run. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to de-risk your to assess your startup, to de-risk the development and the continuation of the project, that's for you. If you're a VC, that's even easier. Contact us as well at hello@evalify.ai, and we'll start some pilot with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And as I see a lot of great questions also on LinkedIn. As we conclude to this session, feel free to just drop a few questions, like if you have more now. It's actually clear that we are this forefront of merging AI with patent analysis to provide strategic insights that to benefit the startups and the investors alike. So we spoke about the enhancement of the diligence, the democratization of access for the investment opportunities. So we not only support the growth of innovative startups, but also play a crucial role in shaping the future of the investment in the tech industry. And thank you so much for joining this exploration today with us, and to knowing more about how we are changing the landscape of patent analysis and investment strategy. We super grateful that you are here with us today, and then we speak again next week.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye, everyone.